What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Armchair Wrestling. I am your host, as always, top boy number one booker Alex Bennison. I am joined by lukewarm Jack Robshaw.
Yeah, mate, how's things?
Not bad. And Mr. Self-Common Censored himself, KC.
Yeah, all right, guys. Looking forward to previewing the Elimination Chamber here. Really up for that
one. Yeah, it's been a fair while since we've done one of these. And like we were saying beforehand, for 3.5 weeks, nothing happened. And then everything happened. We timed it well to come back. So, before we do get into any of the wrestling stuff, we do have 2 shout-outs that we need to do. First off, a shout-out to Daz and Lou, who, Casey, you'll know them best as Cowboys and Clowns.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Congratulations to both of them as they're expecting another child.
Well, now I feel bad for saying, "Oh, for fuck's sake."
Yeah, you fucking
KC,
dick.
Speaking as someone whose fiancée is 8 months pregnant, you allowed her for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
I mean, I reacted slightly better to yours, but still pulled some hairs out.
What do you mean you reacted better? You said, but what about golf?
I still think that's a step above over fuck's sake.
Genuinely, congrats, Daz and Lou.
Or as they're now called, do.
Hang on, if they're Cowboys and Clowns, does that make this dink?
Yes. Yes, it does. I didn't think about it like that. Yeah. If it's not called Dink now, disappointed.
Gun.
And if you've not listened to it already, I did a collaboration with Sweet Chinwag podcast, and it went out live Monday at midday. And we went through the career of Chris Jericho. But we are going to be returning the favour this time next week. We will have Dan and Sam from Sweet Chinwag podcast live on Armchair Wrestling, and we will be doing a roundup of all the NXT call-ups.
Which, as we know, they book fantastically. So I'm sure there'll be nothing to take the piss out of.
It'll be a pretty clean-cut podcast. Cheers, Jack. Cowboy James Dink.
Yes, book it now. If you don't, Sky will.
So, shall we start with the big news coming out of WWE and going into AEW? A man who's almost as bald
if you want.
The dangers of asking your girlfriend to give you a fade.
No, I was shaving it off anyway, but she wanted to try. The big show is All In.
Yeah,
I believe it's all out.
Yeah, I was very, very, very surprised by this. I had no idea. I didn't know that his contract was up or anything. When I first saw it, I thought I checked the account twice, thinking that it was a Photoshop. Well, yeah. I suppose it is a Photoshop. Someone made that in Photoshop, but I thought that it was bollocks, and then realised, oh shit, that's actually the AEW account.
Yeah, big elite Paul White.
Yeah, brought in as a commentator for AEW Dark, but will work some matches as well. So Shaq versus Big Show.
Oh, it's absolutely nailed on to happen. It wouldn't shock me at all if they do a thing where Shaq and Cody respect each other, because that's tonight, isn't it? The tag match.
Yeah.
The mixed tag. Somehow Shaq and Cody come out of this respecting each other, and I don't know how you get there, but Shaq and Cody versus Jerry show.
No.
Because not only is there history and all of that, and it's a big match that you can draw some numbers with casual fans, etc., it also plays into this Chris Jericho is a quote tag team slut storyline as well. That's what I think will end up happening.
I hope not. I really do hope not. To be honest, it wouldn't. If this was WWE and they saw Snoop Dogg do that splash, it would have been changed into a triple threat by now for WrestleMania.
Yeah, very, like you say, very interested to see. I'm now going to have to get used to calling him Paul White. And his I'm sorry, but his last name is spelt wrong. That's not how you spell White. If it was right, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But that's not how you spell White.
No one cares when it's for whites.
It's, WHITE, or if you want to swap the I with a Y, I'm also okay with that. But no, that is not acceptable. Go sort it out, mate. You can book yourself however you want with this. I am looking forward to insipid Taz and Paul White commentary now.
Well, I believe on this, because it's AEW Dark Elevation, the Monday night one, isn't it? I think it's him and Shivani.
Yeah.
Because, of course, AEW needed a third show.
Give you guys a second television show. You got some stroke around here.
To be honest, I haven't really, other than this news, I've not really kept up with much AEW over the 4 weeks we've been away.
You should have. It's really good.
Yeah, I know. I should find more time to watch it, but I don't.
Yeah, well, it's fair. It is getting a bit ridiculous. Like, have you seen what WrestleMania week is now? If you
4 days long is WrestleMania.
No, like the actual week. If you wanted to keep up with if you wanted to try and keep up with everything that week, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Or Jack scrolls to find.
No. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anything from this list, but it is absolutely ridiculous. Because have you seen? I'm assuming you've seen the big NXT news.
Yeah,
they're looking to move.
They're not looking to move.
NXT is moving to Tuesday nights.
Yeah, after WrestleMania.
It's WWE versus Impact Wrestling all over again.
Yeah. So basically, Wednesday, April 7th, NXT and AEW Dynamite. Thursday, April 8th, NXT TakeOver. Friday, April 9th, the Go Home SmackDown for WrestleMania. April 10th and 11th, WrestleMania. April 12th, the Raw After Mania and that new AEW Elevation show. Tuesday, April 13th, NXT's debut on Tuesdays and Impact and NWA and AEW Dark. And then 14th, back to Dynamite again. So if you wanted to keep up with everything, you've got like 4, 7, 9, rough estimate, 70. You've got like in 8 days, roughly like 27 hours of wrestling.
It's doable.
Is it?
Because I don't think it is,
Listen, I like Rey Mysterio as much as the next guy, yeah.
We'll come back and we'll talk about NXT. I guess we should talk about, that main thing that we even forgot to preview, Elimination Chamber. Quick.
This was a really good show, by the way.
Yeah, to be fair, I think it has 7 matches, including the pre-show match, which Morrison won. So 6 main card matches. I don't think that's bad.
Yeah, no, and the show only went, like, the main card was only 2.5 hours as well, which was really nice.
Oh, God bless them.
Yeah. So, main news, actually, from this. So, John Morrison defeats Elias and Mustafa Ali to enter himself into the trip.
Yeah, that's the main news. That's the main news, definitely.
No,
putting your boy over right there. Main news, John Morrison got a match.
And no, fucking shut up. and Ricochet to get himself into the United States title match, which was meant to be taken by Keith Lee. Oh, poor Keith Lee.
Has it now been confirmed that he isn't just isolating and he's also injured or something?
Yes, he came back from isolation, and Bobby Lashley then injured his back. So then he was out of this US title match.
Well, because I'm assuming, based on what happened later, that Keith Lee was probably going to win this. Because I really can't see that it was meant to be Riddle.
Really? I can see with that booking that they thought the whole time, Riddle.
Let's have him lose.
We're going to book him
6
into
weeks
the
in a
ground
row.
so you won't expect it.
Yeah. I mean, he's had such a awful start to 2021. People calling for Keith Lee to win the Royal Rumble, then gets COVID, then comes back, basically is in line to take his first main roster title, then gets injured. It'd be great for him, when he comes back and he wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Nah, I thought you were going to say when he comes back and beats Bad Bunny for the 24/7 title.
Same level, to be fair.
Yeah. Now, as I say, this show was really good all the way through. As we've on about the John Morrison thing, are we going to jump straight into the US title match? Because this they actually did a really, really good job with for me. As much as I don't really care about who wins it, I spent that whole match thinking, I'll tell you what, Bobby Lashley really should just be in the world title program.
Yeah.
And then...
we'll get to that.
Yeah.
To be fair, they made Lashley look incredibly strong. Morrison, as soon as Morrison was put into that match, you knew he was taking the pinfall, whether it was Lashley retaining or Riddle winning. He was taking that pinfall.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. But the triple threat match itself wasn't great, but it did what it needed to do. Lashley looked dominant as all, and Riddle, for once, a babyface, looked relatively clever. Someone's brought a weapon into a triple threat match. Oh yeah, I can't get DQ'd, can I? So goes to town with the crutch. It's the number of times you'd have seen a babyface in WWE in that situation go, oh no, I can't use this, that's not fair, and then lose.
I thought it was well done, and obviously with what happens to Lashley over the next 2 weeks, you can't have him lose that.
Yeah.
And fair play, he comes out of it looking strong as hell anyway.
Yeah. We'll talk about the other non-Elimination Chamber match. Jackson Baszler defeating Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks to retain the tag team titles. They are set to take on Dakota Kai and Raul
Gonzalez.
Raul. Yeah, I think that's tonight, is that match, isn't
it? Yes, I believe so. I think that's tonight. I haven't actually checked what's on NXT tonight, but I'm pretty sure it is meant to be tonight.
For the love of God, keep those titles in NXT.
Yeah, I really am pretty confident that Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez are going to win this.
No, Raul
Mendoza. No, I'm fairly confident that they'll win this, and they should, and that's where the belts should be for a while. And but by all means, have Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez go up and beat Naomi and Lana, or well, I was just going to name 7 people and Lana because that appears to be what they're going for with the tag division. Just have everyone team up with Lana,
Dana Brooke, and Lana.
Oh God.
Yeah. This I'll be honest, this match, because it was just thrown on the card to replace the Asuka Lacey Evans match that wasn't going to happen anyway. I wasn't really paying attention to it. All I got to the end was, and I just went, great. Nia Jax has pinned the SmackDown Women's Champion. That's useful. Anyway, the next Raw, they had Nia Jax pin the Raw Women's Champion. So, in the internal kayfabe of the show, why isn't Nia Jax in line for title opportunities?
It's too busy, mate. You can't have a single title and a tag belt at the same. We all know this.
Yeah, that's true, because they wouldn't have like Asuka and Charlotte going after the tag belts or anything, would there?
While we're on the
just as the logic that WWE are employing now for putting tag teams together of basically, I don't like you, but we have a chance at the belts.
They've always been quite bad for that.
Copy and paste.
They've always been bad for that, but they have been. They must have done it, what, 6 or 7 times in the last couple of months?
Yeah.
At least.
I mean, I found it really jarring when they put Asuka and Charlotte together. Like, I know it was kind of cool having Charlotte make the surprise comeback like that. But then they never interacted with each other. You guys are the champions, and you're not even, like, hanging out, not talking to each other. Like, no wonder you lost. No chemistry, clearly.
Well, that and also, Asuka is a complete afterthought, so she can lose whenever.
I saw a great photo of her. Someone's photoshopping the Eddie and Ray ladder match for Dominic, but putting Lacey Evans, Charlotte, and Ric Flair. While we're on the subject of them, poor Asuka having her teeth kicked out of her face.
Yeah. Ow. There's no. It's just unfortunate, really, because it's not like it's not because it was Shayna that kicked her, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's not like Shayna's got loads of previous for hurting people, so it's not one of them where you're like, oh god, again. It's just unfortunate, and then
so if it had been Nia,
that's the thing. If you do something loads of times, it's fair enough when people got. If you do something once, you can go, well, it's a mistake. It happens. I mean, in wrestling, everyone who isn't Bret Hart hurts someone at some point. It's just a matter of if you do it often that it's a problem.
And that is essentially what that REM song is all about. Everybody hurts someone sometime except Bret Hart.
Yeah.
That the uncut version.
Yeah, pretty much.
So the first Elimination Chamber match, Daniel Bryan defeats Cesaro, Jey Uso, Kevin Owens, King Corbin, and Sami Zayn. I thought this was a great match, and I liked the little bit beforehand where Zayn was getting in the pod and they sent his camera crew away. But why?
Yeah, but why? I'm completely on Team Sami here. Omos was allowed to stay.
You trying to tell Omos to leave.
Yeah, well, it's just not fair. It's not fair to Sami. It's a conspiracy. I'm telling you. I'm 100%
all right, Eden, calm down.
He showed me this video called Loose Change, and now I thought this chamber match was absolutely fantastic. To be honest, it was one of the better ones of the last few years. I went into it thinking Cesaro would win. Obviously, he didn't, but I thought that the match was great, and Daniel Bryan is just so good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that finish between it was Bryan, Cesaro, and Uso. Yeah, I really enjoyed that finish between those guys.
Yeah,
Jey Uso getting to look like the Jey Uso that we saw a bit in the Reigns feud again, actually looking like a threat and beating people, which was good to see.
Yeah, and then like always, as Daz says, Reigns ruins it all. He pins Daniel Bryan. Well, won by submission.
Yeah.
After 1:32. To be fair, keep him strong.
Here's the difference. Now Reigns ruins it in a good way by being a heel that comes out having a really easy time due to the way having all the advantages and just winning easy, rather than Reigns ruins it all by going, oh God, he's won again. And he's going to come out and no one's going to believe him as a face and it's going to be really dull. Him as a heel is fantastic. Is Roman Reigns right now the best thing in wrestling?
Ooh.
Well, apart from John Silver, yes.
Fair enough.
Just like John Silver, Roman Reigns.
MVP.
I don't know if I like anything else in wrestling. I don't know why I do this podcast, to be honest. But then again, neither do you two. So, I mean, you don't know why I do this podcast.
I do. We never get to see each other anymore because of lockdowns.
I'm okay with that for some people.
All right, dickhead.
Who said that was aimed at you?
All right, dickhead.
It was,
I mean, it was, but you don't know that.
I knew. And speaking of things that you don't know, so WWE go, let's have an Elimination Chamber. Straight after the Elimination Chamber, have a WWE title match. And then do the same thing again on the same card.
Yeah, but in a different way. I was fine with that. Both of them were heels taking advantage of the situation, so I was all right with it.
Yeah, so Drew defeats Styles, Hardy, Kofi Kingston, Orton, and Sheamus.
You look at that list and the way they've been booked recently and stuff, and I just can't help but think, what the fuck was Jeff Hardy doing in this match?
Well, I believe the logic was, we need 5 people that we can all beat, and no one will be upset if we really beat them or not.
Yeah, and with them saying they all have to be former WWE champions as well, it did limit the number that they had. But of course, they didn't have to do that.
Nope, Crazy Steve. Best thing in wrestling.
Ah.
I don't know if have you seen any of that Impact stuff? It's basically it's like El Torito crossed with Mantar.
Is it Black Taurus?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that he debuted, but I haven't seen any of it. I barely have time to keep up with what I do keep up with. So
yeah, for the American audience, I've driven a Black Taurus before. Anyway, we can move on from.
Yeah, what wasn't he working on a street corner?
Going back to the Elimination Chamber, though. I did actually. I know as much as it doesn't make sense that they let Omos stay, but I did like the spot of just almost just ripping the side of it off so AJ could just run around and get in the match.
That spot was great, but it would have been better if that same pod wouldn't have accidentally had the plexiglass knocked out of it in the first match.
Well,
yeah, which kind of gave away
what was going. Can you?
Yeah, it kind of gave away the spot that was coming.
Yeah. You say about Jeff Hardy, but to be fair, even Kofi Kingston being in this match, he's been out with was it a fractured jaw or I think it were a fractured jaw that he was out with for a bit and then just kind of got put in this match.
I don't know. As much as I didn't think there was any chance he was going to win, I could believe there was a way to have Kofi Kingston win the match. As unlikely as it was. I could not believe in any way that Jeff Hardy could. Everyone else in that match, AJ Styles has been booked really strong and barely lost a match since he moved to Raw. Randy Orton is Randy Orton, so there's always a chance. Sheamus has been feuding with Drew McIntyre and was the last to enter, so there was a chance. Jeff Hardy was the one that I just couldn't believe it at all.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy has been losing a lot.
Yeah.
Randy Orton's also been winning Twitter battles.
I have heard about this, but I haven't seen it.
Man's been taking on Soldier Boy.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they got into a Twitter war because Soldier Boy, being, Soldier Boy, starts tweeting that wrestling's fake.
Oh,
bad move. Randy Orton just called him out, called him a punk ass. Not been relevant since 2007. To be fair, it's quite entertaining to go and read. Yeah, but then so Drew wins after half an hour chamber match.
Was good. The finish was really good. The Claymore in him out of the air after going for the phenomenal forearm. As much as they did kind of telegraph it a little bit in the ring, so you could sort of see what was happening. But it was a good finish.
Yeah, I think if I'm right, I think Styles has been in 3 Elimination Chambers, and 2 of them he's been eliminated whilst going for a phenomenal forearm. He got caught by Bray for that Sister Abigail when Bray first won his title, and then this. It's like they just kind of, repeat the same finish a lot.
Yeah, although AJ did do the sign of truly great wrestlers, where he completely botched his springboard 450 and just turned it into a springboard swanton. I slipped. Oh, well, I'll just land on you and it'll really hurt for realsies.
But yeah, Miz cashes in. And after 30 seconds...
First,
he spotted...
the Almighty Man returns. As Bobby Lashley murders Drew McIntyre because he's angry.
We should mention that, obviously, before the Chamber match, they showed Miz talking to MVP. And to be honest, as soon as that happened, I went, oh, so Lashley's going to batter Drew, Miz will cash in, and the fee is Lashley getting a title shot. As I went, well, that's the only out they've got now. Otherwise, why would they be talking? And then if they'd have done it on Raw, they'd have looked stupid because this was the best time.
Yeah.
But yeah, big Bobby Lashley being a killing machine is what I like to see.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, I said it on Twitter. Can you, if you think back to Bobby Lashley's angles, he had the angle with Lana and Rusev, Bobby's sisters. It took a lot to bring him back.
Bobby Lashley pointing at his own ass.
Oh, yeah. Big Leo
Lashley.
Leo Rush was really good in that role, but it wasn't exactly main event Lashley, was it?
No.
So before we get to main event
look at his arse.
Before we do get to main event Lashley, we will talk about Miz holding the belt. Miz becoming the first modern day 2-time Grand Slam champion.
You know when you've run out of bollocks to push someone with?
Yeah. In fairness, he said it in a promo. I didn't see it pushed that much outside. But, there's going to be an issue here. I might be like the biggest Miz fan in the world. So, because I knew it wasn't going to be a long title reign, I was pleased. I was really happy.
Now, enjoying what you could.
Yeah, because I was like, great. They've managed to do the Money in the Bank without it looking as daft. The bit at the start where they put it on Otis in the first place was really stupid. And that's actually to blame for all of this. I mean, I would have been fine.
JBL's wrestling court to decide if Miz could win the belt. Also stupid.
Yes. But it all stems from that original bit. Admittedly, the cash-in at TLC where he'd made it a triple threat and lost, if it had ended there, I'd have been absolutely fine with it. But once they'd given him it back, he sort of had to win it. They couldn't have him lose it twice. I mean, that would be even worse than like Corbin having it and stuff. In terms of, that's like Mr. Kennedy levels once you're there, if you lose it twice. And Miz, he pins Drew, but he pins Drew after a chamber match, and then getting attacked by someone else, and it took him a couple of attempts to beat him. But I was Miz being a 2-time WWE champion. I think overall is a good thing. The booking for this wasn't great. Like he'd won, what was it? I think he'd won 3 singles matches I think it was 3 singles matches in about 9 months before this. But I saw one of the things that annoyed me actually was I saw loads of people complaining, going, "Well, how are you meant to take him seriously as champion? You're not meant to take him seriously as champion. That's the whole point." So it was just a way to get it onto Lashley away from Drew without having to have Lashley beat Drew, because I'm assuming that's going to be the title match at WrestleMania. I know they've done it. I know that they did it in like May or something, the match. But if you end up doing you can't do a title switch in February and then do a rematch in April at Mania.
No. You said Mania. You mean Fastlane.
Nah, they won't do that. That's something, actually. Do either of you remember? I am sure The Miz cut some sort of promo after Mania last year.
If he's not the main event, he'll retire.
Yeah. Where he said, basically, if I'm not in the main event of WrestleMania next year, I'll retire. So I think that the match at Fastlane should be Lashley versus Miz. A rematch. With Miz saying, look, I said I am going to get to the main event of Mania or I'll retire. And he does that match. And after the squash match on Raw, which we'll get to, in this one, Miz really fucking puts up a fight and maybe goes like 10, 11 minutes and has a couple of good false finishes and then loses and then goes away for however long he feels like it. But goes away for a while.
Films Marine 13.
No, he can't. He died in the last one. Spoilers. Everyone.
I've not even watched Marine 1 yet.
He got killed by Becky Lynch.
Oh, Bocky.
But no, as I say, I was happy seeing Miz as champion. If he'd have held it all the way to Mania, I wouldn't have been, because that'd have been stupid. But him getting the belt always makes me happy. I popped for it because I'm just a huge fan. If you were allowed to have world champions as your boy, The Miz would be my boy.
No, he's free from the stable now. Well, he was free, 10 years ago?
Yeah, but we can't even have him like Jinder, where his boydom's grown back now, because he's been champion again.
My only hope coming out of all this is that they don't at Mania decide, let's give Drew his moment now. Now that there will be people there, because
I think that was the original plan, but with how good Lashley looks, I think that they'll change their mind and Lashley will win.
Because it's just, if he loses the belt, you're just like, well, now he just looks even worse. Like, yay, he beat The Miz, and then someone good came along and he can't beat them.
Yeah, that's one of the things that was good. Obviously, we'll come to it, but that's why I thought that match where he beat Braun clean was quite important for establishing him. But as I say, I thought Elimination Chamber was a really good show. I really enjoyed it. And it was 2.5 hours, which made it even more enjoyable.
Yeah, but the thing is, well, we might as well talk about Lashley. If it wants to stay on screen. Now, obviously, he squashed Miz. He's now the WWE champion. The photo went round of him, MVP, Shelton Benjamin, and Cedric Alexander, which looks an incredible photo, to be fair. Hurt Business. Was Hurt Business a thing before Retribution or after?
Before.
Yeah, I think it's been around for a while.
I mean, basically, MVP started this, although I don't think it had the name and everything. But he was trying to recruit people around Mania last year, wasn't he?
I was going to say it was about 2 weeks after the Royal Rumble last year.
Yeah, but like he really got going because he tried to recruit Drew, didn't he, at one place?
Yeah,
and that angle where Titus O'Neil asked to join, so they just beat the fuck out of him.
Well, I mean, I imagine when he was trying to put the group together, the first calls he made were Hernandez, Samoa Joe, Kenny King.
Yeah.
Homicide.
And no, not Homicide. Come on.
I don't believe Homicide was in BDK, was he?
No, he wasn't. Don't mess this shit up now.
Was it Loki?
Was Loki in it?
Yeah, Loki when he was dressed like Hitman.
No, whoa, that's way before then.
In fairness, I think he's still dressing like Hitman.
Yeah, and then obviously none of those guys were around, so it's like, well, we'll get Lashley in. Lashley's obviously on board. Lashley is clearly aware of MVP's fantastic managerial prowess.
And he needed a way to get away from Lana.
Yeah, just get out of the house for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Who else is free? Shelton Benjamin's not doing anything. Get him on board. And the best strategy of all, we're just going to keep kicking the shit out of Cedric Alexander until he joins us.
This is why Cedric Alexander is a smart man. He kept getting the shit kicked out of him, so he joined up with them, and now he's tag champ. They kept kicking the shit out of Ricochet as well. He didn't join.
Right.
But where's Ricochet?
But with Cedric Alexander, because they basically made him the offer, he said no. Then they beat him up for a while, and he's like, go on then.
Yeah.
It's like, you could have just said yes in the first place.
Yeah, but they were basically giving him some grit by kicking the shit out of him.
Booting him in the head, just going, it's for your own good.
Yeah.
But can you feel that dark cloud looming over Lashley now? Of that cloud that's the shape of Brock Lesnar?
I don't think they're going to do that, but I'm dying to see that match, as long as Lashley wins and it only goes about 8 minutes.
The dark clouds that's looming over Lashley is first-time world champion. Solid bookings coming your way.
Yo. 2-time. He was ECW world champion, mate.
That doesn't count.
But
I know it doesn't count.
I'm sticking with first-time world title ring.
It's the way that John Morrison stays in my boy stable.
I also apologise to TNA for not recognising their belt as a world title.
No, you meant WWE.
Yeah.
TNA's world title is a world title.
It's just not enough to take him out the stable.
Lashley's far too good for the stable.
In fairness, it's going to happen again, isn't it? A big world title match at WrestleMania, and it's going to be 2 former TNA champions going at it.
Yeah, someone tweeted it straight out, the picture of Slammiversary, which was him and Drew Galloway for the TNA world title.
Which, again, it just shows that they really, with the right management and bookings, they really could have been so much bigger than they are.
Well, it's Impact where stars go to grow before they go to WWE.
Yeah, well, not anymore.
It's where stars went to get paid before they went back.
Yeah, not anymore. It's where they go now to get big and go to AEW.
Yes.
I don't know. It's that's very much a split at this point.
Yeah, but once this with the way that this working relationship's going,
yeah, I think this forbidden door.
Because they'll have already probably been working with them for 6 months by the time the contract comes up.
Speaking of which, did you see the promo that Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone cut?
I've seen a few of them, but I don't know if I've seen the most recent one.
The most recent one is him basically saying AEW, Impact, and New Japan are fighting together against the other company.
Ooh.
You're hard.
Well, I mean, they're moving NXT to Tuesdays, so they're winning that bit.
Take that, Game Changer Wrestling.
Yeah, they move to Tuesdays, and then AEW just throw all their stars onto Impact.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say NWA is coming back soon as well, and seeing as the NWA Women's World Champion has been all over AEW for months, I'm assuming that they're going to be involved as well.
Yeah, they're on Fight TV now as well.
Is that where it's going to be on? I know they're coming back, but I haven't seen where.
Yeah, they removed everything off YouTube, which I think was a bit strange.
I dare say that Fight is probably paid, and it won't cost them a whole lot, but they'll have probably paid for that along with acquiring the rights for it, I would imagine, because the problem was for NWA, that was never a long-term sustainable option for them, was going out on YouTube.
No.
So
in order to cover the cost of production, you'd have to get so many views for advertising fees and stuff for it to be worthwhile on YouTube.
So I think the big thing for them now is obviously there's clearly a relationship with AEW and NWA as well, is to try and keep that NWA presence around on there. I'd love to see more of Nick Aldis on either getting back on Impact or on AEW or something. I think he's one of the best people around in wrestling at the moment.
Yeah, he's just a guy. He just looks right with that belt.
And I'm not just saying this because he's English. He looks like a fucking champion, does that man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in fairness, That's what Bobby Lashley looks like.
Yes, on a very different way.
Yeah.
As in, like, Aldis kind of... He does have that Ric Flair vibe to him. Kind of a more sophisticated Ric Flair compared to... I was going to call Bobby Lashley there Hulk Hogan, but that seems like a terrible idea.
Yeah, no, that's not what Bobby Lashley... Bobby Lashley just looks like a guy that could beat the shit out of you. And the main reason for that is that he is a guy that could just beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, I think they said he becomes the 5th WWE champion to have also had an MMA career, and he has the same amount of wins as the other 4 combined in MMA.
Yeah. Now, admittedly, he hasn't fought some of his matches were not the level of competition that Brock Lesnar had. But obviously, Brock also got the shit kicked out of him by a few of them as well.
I'm cheated in at least one.
Yeah, at least one. So there's Brock, Lashley, Del Rio has had an MMA fight. Batista had one, but his was in a nothing promotion. His don't count. So it just doesn't.
Well, if you don't think that counts, CM Punk is the other.
Yeah, CM Punk needs to be. It's WWE champion, isn't it? Because I was going to say Swagger, but he was World Heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
Because Swagger's had MMA fights.
In fact, while we were on NWA, I didn't put this down on my notes, and I feel really bad now. NWA wrestler question mark passed away.
I have to be honest. I don't think I've ever seen a match, so it's a shame, but I can't really comment.
Yeah, I saw quite a few of it. It was Josephus was kind of the other name he went by, but the question mark was one of those things that when I first started watching Power was one of those things that got over really quickly to a bizarre level for a comedy gimmicks that it was. I think you had him doing a lot of stuff with Aaron Stevens as well, and they had a lot of comedy with each other, obviously, with Aaron Stevens. But yeah, that kind of, the question mark came at times a bit of a focal point for Power.
Yeah, he literally, we said NWA, it came back into my mind. So our thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family.
It's a shame, and from everything that I read on Twitter, he seemed to be very popular and very well liked. But as I say, I can't. It'd be disingenuous of me to say, "Oh, it's a real shame. I loved this and that," because I didn't really know anything about him.
Well, I was going. We'll come back to the WWE thing because there's one other thing that's just popped into my mind. I don't want to forget about it, and it's something that happened yesterday. A wrestling event that was going to take place for a women's charity, booked by Joey Ryan.
Yeah, the sleazy, disingenuous, fucking prick of a human being. It appears basically that he booked this used a front person, so no one knew it was him. And I think it was David Bixenspan tweeted out about it. Basically, he was getting away with it because no one knew it was him. And then, but the ticketing company he used was his ticketing company, the same one that he was using before everyone found out what he was. So it all came out, and it was very quickly cancelled and everything. From this one, I can't be as sure on because this is something I haven't looked into myself. But apparently, this charity isn't that great either. The way it was described, again, it was David Bixenspan, is that it's one of those women's charities that is like, I think the way that he phrased it was a quote unquote, heal yourself through Jesus because you're a slut charity. Like, it isn't actually that pro women in the way it says it's a women's charity, apparently.
Yeah.
But that is something I haven't looked into myself, so could be not right, but it doesn't sound great. And if they weren't vetting the people involved and stuff, that also isn't great.
Yeah, and I think obviously when we were kind of talking to each other yesterday about it, between that and the incident with Progress over Paul Robinson, where they weren't. I think Progress had previously said after the speaking out movement that they were going to tell talent who was going to be booked on shows, and so basically, if there was anyone there that they didn't want to work with, they could pull out. But they decided to use Paul Robinson as a producer, and because he was working as a producer, decided not to tell people. And obviously, you then go to a locker room where once everyone's there, you're then going to say, okay, are we sending this guy home or what? And there's a lot of people who are going to feel very uncomfortable saying yes.
Yeah, it was not great. That I can't believe that. I'm amazed actually at the just sheer lack of foresight involved.
No, it was
even away from the moral argument, which obviously anyone who does that sort of thing, fuck them. Yeah. But even away from that, just the sheer lack of thinking about it, like that's clearly, let's try and piss everyone off.
Yeah, this idea, like, well, it's a technicality really, because we said we were going to tell them who was performing on the show, but he's only a producer, so we don't need to tell him like, yeah, good, give yourselves a pat on the back for that one.
Yeah. When I spoke to Liam Slater and Eve Black, July last year, they were saying that it is up to the senior members of wrestling and the producers to be able to stop these sort of situations from arising in the future, and Progress just have not done that. They wanted him there, so they put people in an uncomfortable position, and they really shouldn't have done, and they know they shouldn't have done because they released him the next day.
Yeah. It's that thing of, well, hopefully we'll do this, and hopefully this doesn't get out.
Yeah. So we might as well go back onto a bit of a cheerier note.
Well, there's not many things that aren't cheerier. There's not many.
I think this would be a cheery note, and I can't wait to see this match. Rollins and Cesaro at Mania.
That is what it looks like being, and that match should be awesome.
Cesaro has said if his WWE time is up, the one thing that he wants is to have a singles WrestleMania match on the main card.
Has he even had a singles match not on the main card?
I can't think of one, but he might have had like a US title defense early on or something on the pre-show.
Yeah, the only things I can think of are multi-man ladder matches, battle royals, and tag team matches. I think even when he won the tag titles, that was on the pre-show.
Yeah, he faced Braun and Nicholas. They had the ladder match that the Hardys came back at. I can't remember anything else.
I think he won a 4-way tag match when he was with Swagger.
The 4-way tag match with Swagger. Didn't they lose that because he then won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal about an hour later? And then the next night on Raw was when he split away from them and became a Paul Heyman guy, which didn't work at all. Even though it really could have if they'd have actually tried.
I think one of the other tag matches was probably him and Tyson Kidd, depending on how long that ran for.
No, they definitely had one, and I think that was a 4-way as well. It was them, the Usos, and one of the Usos got taken out immediately because they went into the match injured and weren't fit to wrestle. And Los Matadores, and I think there was another tag team.
Maybe. Actually, weird tangent. Usos' first tag team title win. Do you remember who it was against?
Oh, no idea.
Okay, so
no, not a clue.
The New Age Outlaws.
Oh, were they the ones that took it off? Because I remember the Outlaws winning them on the comeback. But I didn't realise it was the Usos that beat them.
Yeah, and that's their first title win.
Yeah.
And that's a long time into their WWE careers. But yeah, back onto Rollins versus Cesaro. There were part of me that really hated this Rollins standing in the ring, everyone standing around the ring, you know. Basically what they did on Raw before he became this messiah. Trying to do it again and having him attack Cesaro. God, when he attacked Cesaro, I thought he'd blown his knee out.
I didn't notice. Did he have a bad landing? I must admit, I didn't notice.
No, it's the way he goes to clip Cesaro's knee, but like Cesaro's half turned, so he doesn't get the back of it. He just goes side in.
Yeah.
I thought, fuck, he's just injured Cesaro, and then they go, yeah, we're not giving you another contract.
Sorry, I have just looked as well, as is what I do. The fourth team we were trying to think of the Usos, Los Matadores, and Cesaro and Swagger was Ryback.
Ah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Ryback, who, of course, had the excellent tag team breakup angle of Ryback going, I know you've been injured a bit, so while you're injured, I've kind of started my singles run again. Is that all right? Look, don't worry. At some point, we'll get all the great tag teams get back together. You know, like Barry Horowitz. And we will get back together and we will lose. Ryback for life.
Yeah. I wanted to bring this up because I think this will be one of the better matches, and if it's on the main card, then it could be one of those underlying matches that steals the show.
Well, has Cesaro? Do we think Cesaro has signed his new contract? Because they haven't said. Because if he has, it'll be on the main card, and he might even win. If he hasn't, it'll be on the pre-show. In fact, it won't even happen. Oh. It'll become this will somehow become a multi-man match if he hasn't signed a new contract, and he'll take the fall.
I was going to say, could you imagine a WrestleMania where Seth Rollins is pre-show Seth Rollins
with this gimmick? Yeah.
Oh.
I'm sick of this gimmick. You know what? They'll bring Buddy Murphy back and make it in a triple threat.
I have no idea what it is, but I know that he tweeted out a picture of him having his arm held off by Aleister Black earlier today.
Yeah, he's just tweeting random photos from his past, isn't he? Like, he tweeted a photo of him, Alexa Bliss, and Wesley Blake when they were NXT Tag Team Champions like a couple of days ago.
So it's like, why aren't they just do Blake and Murphy again? Like, you're not going out with either of them. You've just sacked Blake's tag team partner. Just do it.
Honestly, I've even thought up a way you could do it. Is that basically Buddy Murphy comes in and he is told that if he's going to be put in a tag team match, and if they win, he'll be number one contenders, but he's got to go find himself a partner.
So it's Shane McMahon, eh?
I was going to say, he finds Wesley Blake, and Wesley Blake's like, you know what, I do want the tag team title match, but I don't trust you, but we should do this anyway. But I got my eye on you because I don't know if we can get along.
Yeah, and in fairness, Casey, I think that's a stretch because I don't see WWE booking any tag team partners that can't quite get along. It just doesn't seem like something they'd do.
I thought you were suggesting like a SmackDown, just bring it. He's walking backstage. Blake, what are you doing hanging out in the boiler room?
What are you
I'm
doing?
trying to get away from Riker. He won't shut up.
What are you doing hanging out in that one interview area that makes up all of backstage now? Ignore that baseball stadium. It's not really there.
Oh, I'm here for it if he walks in and he's like a backstage area that's set out like William Regal's office. In fact, actually, I saw a video earlier of William Regal entering on main event, like one of his last matches over here in England, and them playing "It's Just a Man" halfway through his entrance.
Yeah, they did they do the Real Man's Man one when he had the match with Daniel Bryan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan's just pissing himself in the ring. Right, final thing then. Edge has picked his opponent. Edge versus Roman.
I feel like I should care about this match more than I do, because I like both of them. Like, Roman's doing the best work of his career. Edge is still a big star, and he hasn't had loads of matches, so it's not like I'm sick of him. But for some reason, this match just doesn't do it for me. And I don't really even know why.
I know why, because I was more excited for Edge and Christian versus the Usos at Fastlane, but that's not happening, damn it.
I'm looking forward to it in the sense of I like this idea of Edge moving away from his past and having these new exciting matches that I've never seen before. I don't think it helps that he had the conversations with all the guys before Elimination Chamber, and it then gets you thinking like, we could have Edge versus Daniel Bryan for the world title. Now you're talking my language. And they're like, nah, Roman, obviously. And you're like,
yeah.
Nah.
No, like, I've always assumed it was going to be this because it got leaked quite early, didn't it? But it was going to be Edge and Roman.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they can just build in like an actual, a good story that isn't just they both use a spear.
It's definitely getting called Spear versus Spear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they both use a spear. And as much as I like the head of the table thing, it needs more depth to it for this. Rather than just, I'm the biggest star, this is my WWE, you're just coming back, an old part-timer coming back. That would be all right, but if they want this to be like, because this will, I'm assuming, main event, probably night 2. They need to get the story right into this, and I'm not even sure what you can do. I mean, I suppose you can have Roman in some way murder, death, kill Christian. That would probably help.
God, that's really dead.
Yeah. That they'll probably do that in the build-up as well. But no, it's probably going to be good. But to be honest, like, I'm more excited for what I assume is going to be Drew and Lashley. I'm more excited for that match than I am about this. And in terms of the world title matches, I'm more excited for Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair as well. I think that could be really good.
Yeah, I am fully invested into that match. Even if they did have to have the shit tag team feud thing, like they always do. I still think that's
is that two people who don't get along in a tag team?
Never happened before.
Just for a theme of this podcast. It'd be like me and Alex teaming up. Just every time one of us does something, the other one looks and just goes, dickhead. Honestly, I'd actually really like to see Sasha and Bella headline one of the nights.
I think that's the headline match for night 1.
Like, I think that'd be great. Like you say, it'll be interesting to see where they go with the whole Reginald thing as well.
No, it won't. He shouldn't be anywhere near involved. Get him out the way and have the women's main event story be about them.
I'm saying now Deborah shouldn't have been involved in WrestleMania 17, but there she was.
No, they've managed to kind of retroactively make you forget that. Even though it's in the My Way promo, you still manage to somehow forget about it and just pretend it doesn't happen.
Yeah, this will happen with this. There'll be some sort of shenanigans with Reginald in the build-up, and then about a week before, it'll just be like, no, this is just about me and you.
Now, I really hope they don't do this, and I don't think they will. But the Reginald involvement makes me scared that Carmella's going to get added and it's going to be a triple threat.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, what happened? Like, did he just stop accompanying her?
No, basically, he is still Carmella's sommelier, but basically,
I think you mean Somalian.
Yes, Somalian, as they have accidentally said about 3 times.
And Alex.
Yeah.
Fuck off, dickhead.
Yeah.
See, not getting along.
You can't say that to us.
We'll have the belt in 2 weeks, mate. Guaranteed.
But yeah, I think that Sasha was a bit flirty with him in one promo, and now he's just loves her, basically. I am working nights on Sunday, so I'm not going to get to watch it live. But are either of you going to watch Revolution on Sunday?
I might, but my work schedule starts tomorrow, and I haven't been given my rota yet, so who knows?
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not saying are you going to order it on pay-per-view. I'm saying are you going to watch it?
I didn't even think that's what you were implying.
I'll watch it the next day
because I think the show should be really, really good.
Let me have a quick look at what the card is.
Yeah. The tag match won't be as spectacular as the one last year, obviously, because last year it was Young Bucks versus Page and Omega. But this one could also be really good in different ways.
Yeah, so Young Bucks versus Jericho and MJF.
Yeah. By the way, did you see what? I don't know how far it went on Twitter, but Tempest off of Wrestle Talk. He just put a thing out about Jericho, calling him the Ayatollah of Rock and Rona. which I thought was very good. I think Jericho and MJF are winning the tag belts, and they'll splinter off, and so it's going to end up being Young Bucks and Good Brothers for the Impact tag titles. I'm assuming.
I'd imagine so.
To be honest,
I think it's for the Impact tag titles. It's the Good Brothers versus Jen Mee.
Yeah.
It's Max and Jeremy.
Max Buck, Jeremy Buck, and of course got beat up on last week's Dynamite, Papa Buck. Who, by the way, is a shoo-in for if there is a worst wrestling actor award, it's absolutely the Young Bucks' dad.
Not Mrs. Dad.
Oh,
Mrs. Dad is
he
great.
made Mrs. Dad look like Laurence Olivier.
Was Laurence Olivier a good worker, was he?
Oh, yeah. Not as good as Abraham Lincoln, of course, who used to defeat zombies with Fujiwara armbars.
Oh, God, I forgot this match was happening. Omega versus Boxley, exploding barbed wire death match.
Yeah. Now, I like when wrestling goes full bollocks.
I actually, I don't know if either of you guys have watched the series on Vice, The Wrestlers, with Damian Abrahams.
I haven't. I've seen all the Dark Side of the Rings, but I haven't actually seen The Wrestlers.
The Wrestlers, fantastic series. The only issue with it, I think it actually got released either last year or the year before, but it was filmed about 3 years beforehand, and then Vice just sat on it for ages and then went, go on, put it out now. But there is...
This Dark Side of the Ring's really, really, really successful and the most watched thing we've ever done. Haven't we got that other wrestling program?
Yeah. Well, one of the final episodes of the series is about deathmatch wrestling. So obviously you kind of spend some time with I always forget how to pronounce his name. Asoshi Onita, is it?
Yeah. And this is a full-on Onita match.
Yes. And Anita at times was speaking about how if he had the bravery to do it, that he would be tempted to book his own death in the ring. Yeah. Man, that's a willingness to get over.
Either that or no, I won't say that. That was horrible.
No. And then it kind of goes to CZW and shows some of their matches and. It's actually quite funny because obviously you're kind of there and watching this, and this is all filmed in about 2015, 2016, and it's very strange seeing MJF at a CZW show. Yeah. It's like, MJF, what are you doing here? with your very pro wrestling style. But like, I have so little interest in this sort of thing. For the most part, like, I would never go watch CZW. I would never go watch a show of it. Now, I do think a little bit that they've kind of gone to, and not to this extent, but they have gone to the well a few times with Moxley in extreme matches.
Yeah, well, the thing that's a bit weird with this one is probably one of the biggest one they had was Moxley v Omega.
Yeah, that's the one where they both fell onto the bed of barbed wire, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of as a one-off spectacle, it will be intriguing because I'm also not expecting this to be fluorescent light tubes and beds of cut up cans of Coke and stuff like that. Which, as you're watching this documentary and looking at people's choice of weapons, just thinking, God, this is insane what people are willing to do to themselves.
Yeah. No, I'm like you. I'm not a deathmatch wrestling guy, but this I am good with. I mean, not that it matters what I'm good with, obviously. People either watch it or they don't. But because it's not, this isn't what the whole show is. It's one match. And I'm assuming that they're doing it as a big blow-off because I'm guessing Moxley's going to disappear for a while after this match. Because I'm assuming because this would be a ridiculous time to take the belt off Omega. Even if you don't like Omega, it'd be so stupid to take the belt off him now. It'd make no sense. But I think to do this in this situation, and it won't be like when they've done this match in Japan. Like, I can't see it being the ropes are replaced by barbed wire. I think it will be barbed wire around the ropes.
Yeah.
So that you can still sort of work with it a little bit. So I'm looking forward to it. It probably will not be my favourite match on the show, but I definitely think it'll be good.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bit of a odd one. Like the Adam Page Matt Hardy one, because they're having a match to win the others' quarter one earnings for 2021, which I quite like as a way of going. I mean, they did quite well with the story building up to it and stuff, because this Matt Hardy character, him being a massive carny, trying to steal everyone's money, was shite for the first 6 weeks. And it's actually got quite good now. They've managed to turn it around, which I'm pleased to. But I'm glad to see a singles match on pay-per-view that's not for a belt, it's not for number one contendership, it's not for anything like that. And they've just said it's for money. It's very old school. I like it.
It's a very specific, like, it's not even, oh yeah, they're fighting for the $100,000. Like, no. It's his first quarter earnings.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, though, if someone's going to get a gimmick over, it's going to be Matt Hardy or Jericho.
Yeah. I must admit, I was very surprised with the AEW Women's Eliminator tournament. Because have you seen the winners of the winner of the Japanese side and the final of the I believe that the final of the US side is tonight.
Nyla Rose and Ryo Mizunami.
Yeah. Nyla Rose versus Ryo Mizunami. I'm really surprised at Nyla Rose being in the final of this. I originally, before it started, I thought it was going to be Britt Baker. She got knocked out quite early. But then when Britt Baker got knocked out, I thought, it's going to be Thunder Rosa then. And then Nyla Rose beat Thunder Rosa as well.
Yeah.
So I'm really not sure who's going to win this. Like the final tonight. Because obviously they've had to fly Ryo Mizunami in from Japan and get her through quarantines and everything just to be in this match. So it'd be weird to do that, just have the Dynamite match and have a lose to Nyla Rose anyway. And then do Shida and Nyla Rose.
Again.
Yeah, so I think it's probably going to be Shida and Ryo Mizunami. In which case, I think Shida's just going to retain after the tournament. But like, as I said, going into it, I was convinced that Britt Baker was winning the tournament and then winning the title. So I was really surprised if it isn't. But the match, whoever wins, the match should be really good because the Hikaru Shida matches are really good, generally speaking.
I was just flicking. I was just looking through the card now. I went to look on Max Caster's Wikipedia page. And Max Caster does not have a Wikipedia page, but his dad does. And
oh God, what was the thing that I heard earlier today about? Damn it, I'm gonna have to Google it. I heard something earlier today about Max Caster that I never knew.
Well, his dad was Rich Caster, who it kind of threw me off because I didn't realize. Well, I thought I was still looking at Max Caster when I saw age 72 and thought that doesn't seem right. But his dad is a Super Bowl champion and 3-time Pro Bowl champion.
Oh, cool.
As a wide receiver and tight end. That
was it. Right. Now, I can't be 100% because I only half heard this, but I'm sure it was Max Caster. It was either him or Anthony Bowens. It was one of the acclaimed, but I'm sure that it was Max Caster. Max Caster was one of Lashley's sisters.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'd definitely rather talk about my Super Bowl winning dad than.
Yeah, no, I've just checked. Yeah, I've just checked it. Max Caster was one of Lashley's sister, which I just think is a weird thing. There's a couple of other matches, like there's the Face of Revolution ladder match, which will be, gets you an AEW TNT title shot, so that should be pretty good. The Miro and Kip Sabian versus Best Friends should be a good match, but to be honest, the way they've booked Miro, I can't bring myself to care. But the big one to talk about that's left that we haven't already done, Team Taz versus Darby Allin and Sting.
I'm very interested to see what Sting
Alex,
is
is
like
your microphone broken, or did you just cut out for me? Yep.
Yeah,
there's no Alex.
Broken.
Right, cool. So, KC, what do you reckon to this tag match? Well, I think it's a street fight, isn't it, rather than a tag match?
They've gone street fight, but there has been talk of this being done as a cinematic match, as an actual street fight now. Whether that actually happens or not, I don't know. But
that's what I thought it was going to be until Brian Cage gave Sting that powerbomb.
Yeah.
Once they did that, I thought, I think they are actually just going to do this as a match, which surprised me, but that's what I expected.
Yeah, I mean, I'd quite like to see a cinematic street fight, just given kind of Sting and Darby Allin's characters anyway. And Taz just being basically a dickhead as people are fighting.
Yeah.
Not comedy Taz, obviously, because this is some serious shit.
Yeah, this is Dynamite Taz, not AEW Dark Taz.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was as surprised as anyone when Sting took that powerbomb. But as soon as he hit the ground and then held the back of his head, no, like when Brian first came back and he was doing top rope drop kicks. Why? Stop.
Yeah. But, I mean, obviously, I can't see any way in which Sting and Darby Allin don't win this.
I think it'd be really funny after all the Sting stuff.
Oh, it would be... to be honest, because I don't really get Sting that much. I'm not a Sting guy at all.
But I think they very quickly turned Sting into just this ordinary character who has been on pretty much every episode of Dynamite since he showed up. And he has either interrupted someone. Well, but he's either interrupted Team Taz or he is being interrupted by Team Taz. There's not been a lot of diversity to this storyline other than Team Taz are beating someone up. It's Sting!
Yeah. Oh my God, it's snowing.
Or Tony Schiavone's going to interview. Go on, Tony, say it. It's Sting! Like, that's it.
The promo of him driving the car through the desert and dragging a body bag behind it, which is his teammate. So they're in the desert and then it starts snowing.
Yeah, but they
worse things have happened to wrestlers. I was going to say, worst things have happened to wrestlers in the desert. I mean, Paul White got left there. Ric Flair got buried in the desert by ninjas. I think Samoa Joe might have been buried by ninjas as well.
No, I think Samoa Joe just got kidnapped by ninjas, but I'm not 100%
sure. So it might not have been desert related.
But
yeah,
like
today,
I would quite like it if Sting just loses, and because Brian Cage batters him, because I think Brian Cage do something big like that, and I don't really care about Sting looking strong. People that love Sting are still going to love Sting, so he doesn't need to be kept strong. Whereas Brian Cage does.
I mean, yeah, the last, obviously, the last match he had was the Seth Rollins incident, but you know, his WWE tenure, it wasn't as if he went on this fantastic winning run all the time. You know, he got beaten by Triple H in the most confusing story of all time. It's like, it's Sting, and he's been supported by the NWO because that was the same company. That's
one of those matches, by the way, that I really enjoyed it. So I've never gone back and watched it because I enjoyed it because, loads of surprise returns. Oh, that's fun. It makes no sense. So I'm never going to rewatch it.
Wait, why is the NWO helping Sting, the one person they could never get?
Yeah. Why is NWO helping Sting against Triple H, who's one of their best mates?
Where's X-Pac's nunchucks? Like, come on.
The best thing about that match is Kevin Nash falling over and selling his quad.
Oh dear. Well,
I'm assuming Ricky Starks will take the fall as well, because I'm guessing that. I mean, Ricky Starks is good, but obviously you'd probably have Powerhouse Hobbs and Brian Cage if you were picking a team to look impressive. But you don't really want either of them to lose, whereas Ricky Starks, they're probably not as bothered.
You don't want either of them as a tag team. You want Brian Cage in a singles run.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing with them. I'm not going to throw Paul White in there as much because I don't think he's really coming in to take anyone's spot massively. But whenever people get released or people's contracts come up and go, I'd love to see them in AEW, like, no, they've had enough. Just let's maybe flesh out people's storylines a little bit. Now they've got a bit of extra TV time. Let's get that going, and then maybe look at hiring some more people if you need to.
There's always people that you'll want to see that. Like, Big Show would not have been on my list, but yeah, we'll see what they do. I'm assuming he's only going to have a couple of matches a year.
God, I can't wait to see him versus Cody. Never seen that before.
Oh, God, when he stepped through the table.
And then
I forgot about that until just now.
He speared him in his bollocks in midair.
My groin.
Yeah, but we had a lot to talk about. And to be fair, I think we fit it in a decent amount of time for how long we've been gone.
Yeah, there was no point like getting into this week's Raw other than Lashley winning the title, because as you know, Miz running away, Miz trying to get out of the match, stuff like that. That was all fine. I wish that they wouldn't have implied that Miz shot himself. I know he's a chicken shit heel, and you don't need to protect him, but you don't need to make him look like he shat himself. And that is what they were going for. Morrison looked at his ass and said, "Can we get some towels?" And the worst part is, lazy John Morrison. There was towels on the fucking table next to him.
I don't think that's lazy.
Them on camera.
I mean, I'm guessing that's just John Morrison trying to look good until the cameras are off. It's like, this is not my problem.
Yeah. Like, you know, you didn't need to bury him that much. But, like, everything else on Raw was terrible. I deliberately skipped all the Alexa and Randy stuff, and by the sound and from a little bit of recap I just read, I did the right thing, because there was two Randy Ortons going against each other, both of whom are heels, which seems fun. You know, Charlotte got jumped by Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, and then they had a match.
How does Nia Jax sneak up on you?
Yeah, and then Charlotte just still beat Shayna easy anyway.
This isn't even a joke about her weight. Like, she can barely walk. She's gonna make some loud steps. If you can't get away from Nia fucking Jax. Jesus, maybe you deserve to be twatted in the back of the head.
I always love that when the former MMA fighter who was booked as a badass and killed everyone in NXT and then went into Elimination Chamber and beat everyone in no time gets her and someone else jump Charlotte, beat her up before the match, and Charlotte still just beats her easy. Yay.
Lol, Charlotte wins.
Yeah.
Well, at least Rhea's debuting soon.
Yeah. They're just showing the same video package every week. You know why? Because they haven't got the first clue what to do with her.
Should we do Rhea versus Asuka? Nah, show the video package again.
I do think it's going to end up being a triple threat. I think it'll be Rhea, Charlotte, and Asuka. Charlotte facing the people that she beat at Mania before. And one of them will beat Charlotte. And then the program coming out will be Asuka and Rhea, I think.
I hope Rhea wins.
I hope Asuka wins and never loses the belt.
Yeah, shut up, dickhead.
Why?
And that's all time we have.
Yeah, and that'll do us for this episode of Armchair Wrestling. We will be back quicker than we were this time.
Well, we'll be back. We'll be back Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll be back
in a week.
Wednesday with the guys from Sweet Chinwag podcast, where we'll be running through the NXT call-ups, picking out some highlights, some low points, a lot of low points.
Any creamy middles?
No, just so many low points.
Honestly, I really hope I'm available for this because I could go on and on about the misuse of EC3 for at least an hour.
I should be absolutely fine for it. I will probably have just woke up because I'm working nights, but that'll be fine to be here.
Yeah. So you might as well, you'll be here for a while because we'll be starting all the way back at lovely Alexander Rusev and all the way up to modern day Paul Keith Lee.
In fairness, though, a lot of them we won't have anything to say.
Yeah. No. It's the Ascension.
There's a lot you could say just about their call-ups of tag teams. They've been terrible.
Speaking of NXT call-up tag teams, did you see Big Cass?
Yes.
Him
and Enzo, they were both on that show, and Cass is fucking ripped now.
Yeah, but screw Enzo. Big Cass though could be looking like that and having done a 12-step program. I could see him. Well, I mean, that Lariato Pro Wrestling is owned and operated by Luke Gallows, I believe. So I could see him being in Impact quite soon.
I was going to say, it's because you looked at the ring and it has an Impact Wrestling skirt around it. So
it will filmed for Impact Plus. So, but so that video came out before it came out on Impact Plus. But yeah, man looked ripped.
That'll really pissed off the 12 people that had Impact Plus.
Well, so anyway.
That's optimistic.
So yeah, make sure that you tune in next Wednesday when we have Dan and Sam from Sweet Chinwag on to talk all things NXT. But I've been joined by Luke Jack Robshaw.
In a bit.
And Mr. Soko and Sensor KC.
Have a good one.
And make sure you're back here next Wednesday. You don't want to miss it.